From a mountain test site to a game timer built on life expectancy, these are the kinds of technical choices that quietly reshape what people notice, use, and believe. Each story starts with a small mechanism and ends with a much bigger consequence. A Southern California mountain was used as a lab for highly reactive rocket propellant. Marquardt Corporation used Magic Mountain in Los Angeles County for the testing. It sat in open terrain east of Canyon Country, not inside a normal indoor lab. Open mountain terrain gave engineers room to handle dangerous materials under controlled conditions. A mountain site could work as an outdoor test lab when the propellant was too hazardous for ordinary facilities. That turned a natural landmark into engineering infrastructure for rocket development. The same slopes could support experiments that needed distance, air, and isolation from ordinary buildings. Today, Magic Mountain is remembered not only as scenery, but as a place where propulsion was tested. It also sits within the San Gabriel Mountains National Monument and Angeles National Forest. The U.S. Army Air Corps ordered the Sperry S-1 bombsight because Norden supplies were controlled by the Navy. The S-1 was a similar aiming device for aircraft, built to help crews drop bombs more precisely from altitude. It sat alongside the better-known Norden as another path to the same job. It used the tachymetric principle, which measures ground speed and direction from motion. That let crews adjust the sight quickly instead of following the Norden's longer setup routine. That made the S-1 simpler to handle in combat, but it also carried a cost. At 75 pounds, it was more than twice as heavy, and testing found it less accurate than the Norden. So the Army's choice was shaped by access as much as performance. The result was a workable bombsight ordered because the preferred one was controlled elsewhere. Tokyo Opera City Concert Hall's acoustics were shaped with a 110 wooden model before the hall was finished. The hall opened in 1997 inside Tokyo Opera City Tower in Shinjuku, Tokyo. It was built as part of a larger complex with a recital hall, art gallery, shops, and restaurants. A 110 model is 1/10 the size of the real building in every direction. That let designers study how sound would behave in miniature before the full hall existed. That process helped guide the final concert space, which later earned strong praise for both acoustics and architecture. Musicians including Yo-Yo Ma, Andras Schiff, and Kent Nagano were among those who praised it. The hall is also dedicated to the memory of composer Takemitsu Toru. A small wooden model helped define how a major Tokyo concert hall would be heard. MLS Cup 2025 broadcast some footage shot on iPhones. That put a consumer phone inside a professional sports media workflow. The contrast is simple. One device fits in a pocket, but it can still feed championship coverage. The trick is production flexibility, where different camera sources can be mixed for specific shots. An iPhone is just one more image source in the system. That means the broadcast could use familiar phone hardware without treating it like a toy. The footage still had to fit a championship production standard. So the surprising part is not the match itself, but the camera source. A device built for everyday use helped deliver MLS Cup footage to viewers. Timefly sets your timer from the life expectancy of the country you choose. That makes country selection a gameplay decision, not just a menu choice. The number behind it is a real demographic measure, life expectancy. The game takes that public statistic and uses it as the clock. In effect, the selected country becomes the rule that sets how long you can play. So the limit is felt inside the design itself, not as a separate UI trick. The player's choice directly changes the amount of time available. That leaves you with a game timer built from a statistic outside the game world. A country pick becomes a time limit you can actually feel while playing. In one survey, 2/3 of US adults gave ChatGPT some possibility of consciousness. That was a perception question, not proof that the system is conscious. ChatGPT is a conversational AI, built to answer in natural language. Because it talks fluently, the output can feel agent-like. People can start reading intention into the exchange itself. That creates a social effect. A tool that sounds responsive can be treated as more than software. The survey measured that uncertainty directly. The result is a blurred line between tool and agent, even without any scientific proof of consciousness. Public judgment can shift just from the way a machine speaks. A U.S. senator from Maine advocated for the lobster emoji. A tiny icon became worth political attention. That senator was Angus King, Maine's junior U.S. senator since 2013. He is an independent who caucuses with Democrats. The lobster matters in Maine because it is one of the state's strongest symbols. Supporting the emoji was a way to carry that symbol into digital life. That turns a simple character into a public signal. The advocacy linked state pride with the standards of online communication. King's push shows how even emoji can become political symbols. A small digital image can stand in for a place, a community, and its identity. A 1946 book attacked technology so sharply that later scholars linked it to environmental thinking. It was The Failure of Technology, Perfection Without Purpose. German writer Friedrich Georg Junger published it after World War II. He was not praising machines, he was examining what happens when a technician's mindset spreads into society. Junger argued that this mindset turns efficiency into a social standard. In his view, that creates alienation, because people start being treated like parts of a system. He also tied that logic to capitalism that extracts value without creating real wealth. That pushed the critique beyond machines and into the way whole economies are organized. That is why later scholars saw the book as a precursor to the environmental movement. It framed technology as a question of human purpose, social limits, and the world it reshapes. That's the pattern across all 8, a hidden technical decision, then a visible change in behavior or meaning. If you want more factual stories like this, subscribe and tell us which one surprised you most.